Is it cheaper to leave fluorescent lights on than switch them off? Right, this is one of those things many people in Britain have heard for years. Leave fluorescent lights on because it's cheaper than turning them off and on again. Now, there is a reason this idea came about, but it's not quite what people think. With old fluorescent lights, especially the ones with starters and ballasts, when you switch them on, they drew a quick surge of power. You'd often see that flickering before they lit up. So people assumed that surge used a lot of electricity. In reality, that surge only lasts a fraction of a second, and the energy used is about the same as leaving the light on for just a few seconds. So, from an electricity point of view, it was always cheaper to switch them off when not needed. However, there was another factor, and this is where the myth really comes from. Every time a fluorescent light starts, it slightly wears out the electrodes inside the tube. And so, in places like shops, warehouses, and offices, where lights might be switched on and off many times a day, the tubes would fail sooner. That meant more maintenance, more replacements, and more cost. So instead of looking at electricity use, people started thinking in terms of maintenance. And the idea grew that it was cheaper to leave them on, when really it was just reducing wear and tear in certain situations. Now let's move on to LED lights. Modern LED lights don't have that startup surge in the same way, and they don't suffer from the same kind of wear when you switch them on. So with LEDs, there's no benefit at all to leaving them on. If you leave an LED light on, you are simply using electricity for no reason. So the rule today is simple. If you're not using the light, switch it off. But here's an interesting twist. Even though the old fluorescent myth doesn't apply anymore, there is still a modern version of the problem, and that's maintenance and replacement. With fluorescent tubes, you could often replace a starter or swap the tube itself quite cheaply. With many modern LED fittings, especially integrated ones, when they fail, you often replace the whole unit. In commercial settings, that can still make people think twice about switching frequently, not because of electricity, but because of long-term replacement costs and access. So the thinking hasn't completely disappeared, it's just shifted. The electricity argument was never really true, and with LEDs, it's even less true. But the maintenance mindset, especially in large buildings, is where the idea still lingers today. So, to sum it up, fluorescent lights, switch them off when not needed. It was always cheaper. LED lights, definitely switch them off, no question. And the only reason anyone might still think otherwise comes down to maintenance and convenience, not electricity use.
Please share, like, and subscribe.